Hello, I'm EnterElysium, and this is my first impressions of Valkyria Chronicles. So, what is it? It's a turn-based strategy game, a little bit like XCOM, but with sort of an anime-ish vibe, lots of cutscenes, that sort of thing that sort of tells this big sort of World War I-esque story. And it's a port from, originally, consoles. So, I always go, console port, I'm always a little bit skeptical. I'm using a controller right now. And then I'll switch to using keyboard. Instantly works. Now, this is a really nice thing, and something that I think that I want to just emphasize is that you can switch any time from using keyboard controller. It does have one or two issues, which I will go over, but at any time you can switch from using controller to using keyboard. And that's brilliant. And some games these days completely forget that this is something that should be pretty much mandatory. If your game is controller driven as well, you should be able to switch from one to the other just like that. I'm looking at you, Dragon Age Inquisition. Options menu. You can switch the cameras so you can invert them left, right, you can invert up, down. You can do that with the target as opposed to the action cam, which is nice. No, I don't want to invert it. Whoops. You can change subtitles, language, background music, and sound effect volume. However, you can't change the voice volume. I guess you can assume that voice volume is always max, maybe? Seems a little bit odd they wouldn't have a slider for that, but oh well. Let's confirm that. Okay. So you've got extras. There are a couple of extra missions there that are just non-main campaign, non-story arc missions. So let's load up the one that I've been playing previously in the campaign. Alright, you can see here that I have one in Chapter 5. There are 18 chapters in this game, I believe I read online. It says I played just over 3 hours. That's not correct. I've played about 7, I think. Unfortunately, I had to replay a large part of the game. Yeah, this brings me on to my biggest complaint. And yeah, you know that I'm going to actually come out as fairly positive on this game when my biggest complaint is the fact that it doesn't have an autosave feature. Now, autosave features have been normal for how long in games? You have to manually save your game. So, very frustrating when you're going in and out of missions. You go, you know, here, there, you do this mission, you do that mission, you watch half an hour's worth of cutscenes. That is a complaint. There are very long cutscenes. I understand what they're trying to do. It's a very Metal Gear Solid-esque thing that sort of Sega want to do here, is that they're telling a big story, and then occasionally you'll get to play the game. But if you forget to save when you leave, you will lose all your progress. All of it. So you have to remember to go here, save your game, or you will be utterly and thoroughly screwed. It's not good, because I had to replay about 2 hours of the game. I was somewhat frustrated, as people on Twitter who read those tweets could probably tell you. Okay, so here you have the chapter screen. This is Chapter 5, The Clodden Wildwood. So you've got, this is a cutscene, that's a cutscene, that's a cutscene, that's a cutscene. This is the first mission. Yeah, it's got a lot of cutscenes. It's not terrible if you're looking for something with, you know, a long sort of animation narrative and then, you know, interactive missions. But I have to say, the cutscenes do go on a bit too long. They do get very annoying at some stages. You're like, can I just play a game? If you're looking for a game, just sit down and play. It's probably not the game for you unless you're wanting to sit down and watch a lot of cutscenes as well. So if we have a look at Channel Select, you can see that I've got, you know, 5 and the prologue here. If we go back to the prologue, got one here where it sort of explains the background of the war, and then here's your first operation here, Operation 3. So it does, you know, throw you fairly regularly, you know, free cutscenes between missions. If I just play a cutscene for a little bit, just one of the early ones, just so you can see what sort of quality the animation and so on is, there's a whole chance that I will be flagged for this video because I'm showing you cutscenes and Sega are so tightly holding onto their IP it might as well be like surgically attached to their spine at this stage. But since it's very cutscene and narrative driven, I might as well play you a cutscene. I'm going to play you one of the early ones so it doesn't spoil any story for you. Now, one thing I really do like about the game is the art style. It's got this whole sort of, as you can see here, sort of drawn art style.
1935.
I don't know what you call it. I'm not really an artistic person, but I guess you'd call it some sort of colour pencil sketch or something. And the whole sort of vignette with sort of the white sort of, I don't know. I have no words. I don't do art.
Headed inland
But I'm actually really digging this art style. I actually really do enjoy it. I think it's a very nice art style, and it manages to take sort of a anime-ish vibe along with a nice art style and put it into a strategy game, which actually is fairly fun. So let us back out this cutscene, and I don't spoil it too much for you. Also, don't want to be too flagged. Let's go channel select, and we'll go for a mission. Yeah, this mission isn't too spoilery, the one I'm currently about to do. It's also fairly hard. I have failed it once, and I believe that by failed it, I mean I went in, oh god, I'm losing too many troops, and just backed out.
Here is a brief on the task at hand.
So, here's the point where they give you sort of the overview of the mission. It goes in, it zooms you in, it throws some pictures up on the screen, and then it gives you a tactical map. That's very nice. I like the idea that you've got sort of this intel. That's one thing I don't really like about XCOM, is how XCOM just chucks you into a situation and goes, oh, yeah, this is a picture of the map, go to the map. It's not even shows you a map of where the actual, like, what's going on the map. Whereas, you know, this is a suggestion that, you know, you actually have some sort of intel before you go into a mission. So it's saying, oh, the enemy have got base camp, careful, they're the mines, you should see them, but don't be careful, blah blah blah, tank mines, anti-personnel mines, etc. So this is, now it's throwing in something new, and it'll tell you the victory states and the failure states. Now we're in chapter 5, so it's throwing in mines as sort of an extra thing. Don't have Welkin die. Welkin's the main character. You might have seen him earlier carrying a bag or something in the cutscene. Enemy occupies my base camp, all allied soldiers and reserves are killed, or 20 turns passed. Okay. So, now you can go and position your units. So you've got a deployment screen as well, which is another thing I think it does well on, whereas XCOM doesn't, is you actually have a deployment thing. So, you can see we've got 1 down there at the bottom one, and we've got 4 at the top. Well, none at the top, but we can place 4 at the top and 5 at the bottom. So if we go for deploy... Oh, no, sorry, position units, I mean. And, right, so this is the main one, and this is the one that's going to sneak around behind the enemy. So here you can see we've got different characters. Now, this brings me on to another little complaint, is that in the porting process from console to PC, it's not perfect. It's not terrible, don't worry, there's so many more terrible ports of console games. But the analog stick, this is me going up and down the analog stick, right? It's not perfect, because as soon as I hit slightly sideways, as soon as the controller registers even a slight sideways pressure, you see it jump there massively? And it jumped again. If I don't press the controller exactly forwards or backwards on the stick, it will jump through classes instead. So sideways jumps through your classes. So there's snipers, there's an anti-tank. Oh, and it's jumping the entire view up one. And that's very frustrating, because right now I'm just trying to go up and down and it'll jump me around. So when I get to this screen, I actually just ditch the controller and I go back to the keyboard. That's something you shouldn't have to do. You should have to just stick. If you're going to play on controller, you should be able to just play on controller. They have got it a little bit off there. So let's pick some guys to go here. I'm thinking we need some guys with high move. So here are the classes. This is a scout. This is a shock trooper. Lancer, these are basically your anti-tank guys. Engineers, they throw grenades. They also can give people ammo for limited ammo weapons. So, say your Lancers who run out of ammo on their Lances, which are basically anti-tank weapons, can get ammo from your engineers. And then you've got snipers, who aren't that amazing in my experience. So let's just chuck some... Ooh, where are you? Alicia. So you have to use Q and E, by the way, to look through their stats at the bottom. And if we go through their stats, you can see they've actually got sort of their own traits. So country bred, maternal, undodgeable shot. So undodgeable shot means that, you know, people can't dodge her shot if they've got a dodge. At a certain level, you know, they won't be able to. If we go down, you can see we've got fancies women. So when this guy's around women, he'll do slightly better. He's got like a slightly higher chances in general things. Claustrophobic, don't put him indoors or he'll do worse. He'll have less time unit, stealth. All these sort of things are very useful. Now you can see here there's a guy with Darson Bond. So this game has some sort of elements of racism or anti-Semitism parodied into people with, I think it's people with black hair or whatever, called Darsons. And they're blamed for random things or whatever. Basically like sort of, I don't know, the Jews in the early 20th century. One thing I have to say I don't like about the game is that people just go, can you just get on, right? I don't care. That's what the main character's like. Whereas I just want to be like, I'm not going to take this racism, get on with it. It seems a bit weird that basically he's just saying, yeah, whatever, just don't fight, please. It's like, no, you should be tackling the cause of the racism directly, but fine. So, let's select some of these people. So, I'm going to put Alicia. She's also a main character. I think if I put her down and she dies, we'll probably end the game or something. I don't know. She's very important to the storyline. So, put her down. Now, scouts have a bolt-action rifle, and they also... Is it bolt action? It's a single shot rifle. They're also very, very fast, so they can cover a lot of ground. Child of Nature. We're in a foresty map, so that's good. Fancies Men. Undergo a shot. Chatty Cathy. I don't know what Chatty Cathy does, but eh. Big Sister. Desert Allergy. Undergo Fire. Strong Will. She's fine, but she is a shock trooper, so I don't know if I want her on this side. I probably want... Oh, I'm trying to use the controller again. You can see it's jumping around again. Probably want, say, a sniper. So, Desert Bread, Sniper Killer, Perfect Dodge, Darson Hater. Okay. Meadow Bread. Okay, so that might be good. Night Vision, Nestmaster, Imp Hater. So Imperial Hater, that is. So he does better when shooting Imperials. Now, the Imperials are the bad guys in this game. They're basically like an alliance between Russia and Germany for Second World War-esque, but in a First World War period. You could say probably First World War as well, I guess. Actually, probably more First World War considering it's Imperials. Who else do I want to put in this flank? I should probably put a... Yeah, I'll put one of these guys just in case, so... Put a Shock Trooper on. So if we back out, we go down to here, we can place people down here. Now, we've got a tank down here, taking up one of the spots, which is what we're driving in. We actually have our own tank. And it's fairly nice having, you know, actually decent armor. So coming from something like XCOM, where it's pretty much shivs, mechs, and infantrymen, it's nice to be able to have a tank for once. Who do we want down here? Now, we definitely want an anti-tank guy. Now, we've got likes and dislikes as well, by the way. So you can see likes here. I don't know if we have dislikes. We definitely have likes. Rosie, Hans, and Jan. So if we have Largo around them, he'll do better. I do think there are a few too many things to try and micromanage here, that you've got a lot of things like, you know, you've got sometimes 5 traits, 3 likes, etc. I just tend to ignore the likes. I don't think it's the best way. If you've got a mechanic that people are regularly ignoring, I think you've overloaded them a little bit too much. We'll need to put down an engineer to be able to reload. I'm going to switch over to seeing the perks. City Kid, Pollen Allergy, no. Metalhead, Fatalist, Repair Boost, Desert Bread. I'll take Metalhead. Join in. And we'll put you here. Who else do I want? Yeah, we'll put a scout in, and we'll also put in a shock trooper. Child of Nature, Imp Hater, Undercover Fire. Fine. So we go back, deploy.
Now, let's begin the operation. I'm confident victory is within reach.
Great lip syncing there for the English version. Loading. Okay, so here we go.
The enemy supply base is through these
This is
woods.
the intro cutscene.
Squad 7, move out.
And that's our main character standing on top of his tank. Yeah. The voice acting doesn't really match the lip syncing. They haven't really regionalized that for English. But it's a lovely tank at least. Right, so. Our turn.
The tank will follow the road to the south.
And Team 2 will go through the trail to the base from the north. Okay, cool.
All right.
Didn't you explain this in the... Oh, team attacks. Okay. So she's teaching us about having people nearby to be able to get multiple firepower. There's several interesting mechanics in this game, such as if you fire when you've got an ally nearby, the ally will join in your fire as well. Which is kind of nice that you can actually be able to get an entire squad to fire in effect, rather than just moving units individually and then just people sitting around twiddling their thumbs. So, here we go. As you can see at the top of the screen, we have a command point thing. Moving one person costs 1 command point, moving a tank costs 2. So it's kind of to stop you from overemphasizing maybe the tank. You can move people multiple times. So you could take, say, a scout, move them here, move them here, move them here. It costs you 3 command points. However, you have to be aware that you lose time units, which is, of course, if you play the old XCOM, how amount of time you've got to move. It's not really a time, it's movement-based, action-based, etc. In this, it's just entirely determines how far you can move. You can move less far each time you use a command point in one turn. So if you were, say, okay, I really want to move my scout, you were like, I'm going to move my scout all the way to here. Next time, movement to here. Next time, I'll move to here. Next time, I'll move to here. And then your time units will basically get shorter and shorter as you go on, which is a nice way of being able to stop you from just spamming one person. So I definitely want to capture this base. They've got a little flag there. This is one of their bases. They've got a flag down here. And they've got a flag here. I've got to be able to capture those. They can bring reinforcements in from these flags if you alert them. And we can also do a very similar thing if we actually capture one of those. So we can use it like we've got our flag here. So by going over here, if we get someone who goes unconscious or whatever, we can then go back up to our cap of 9 units by just going there and calling someone in. So taking those is very useful. So we're going to select Alicia. I'm using controller for most of the movement here. As you can see, that shows us where we can see people. If we get in range of them, they will automatically start shooting at us. Got to be careful of that in front of us. That is a mine. Don't step on that. Now you see at the bottom of the screen, we have our time units. As I've stopped moving, they'll stop going down. Okay, that's nice. Right bumper is target mode, left bumper is map. And you see we've got change weapon with X. So we've got grenades, we've got Ragnade, which uses this sort of Ragnar something or other, this magical material that powers everything. Basically imagine oil. This entire war is apparently after this oil type thing. So we'll move up, and I'm hoping... hello.
Gunnery reported on the north bank. We're in danger while it remains, Welks.
Okay, well, he's relying on us to be able to take this anti-tank gunnery down, which is somewhere around here. There we go. They appear now. So they haven't seen us yet. We can start taking shots at them. Now, you do get extra points for headshots if we go into target mode with right bumper. You'll see that we actually can highlight people. Now, it uses the left analog stick to do this targeting, which is very weird to anyone who has ever played any sort of third or third-person shooter, because targeting is on the right stick. Movement is on the left stick. Now, of course, we can't move when we're in targeting mode here, but leaving it on the left stick makes it very unintuitive. I want to be able to target on the right stick, and it feels very weird. And unfortunately, you also don't have enough control over it, so I'm trying to get a headshot here. There we go. It's a little bit difficult. You can do it, but at further distances, and you know, when you get further away from enemies and you want to be able to get these sort of a bit more accurate with your system, it's very hard to actually place the controller exactly where you want it. So if I get my gun out, you can see exactly what I mean, trying to get exactly that crosshair over the enemy. Now you can do it if I look away and then try to... There we go. Oop. Come on. I had it a second ago. There we go. And you saw it took me about 5 seconds there. If I use the mouse, on the other hand, look away, bam. Look away, bam. The mouse is much better for this targeting. And this brings me back to the whole changing between controller schemes. I play this game using both keyboard and mouse and controller, because as soon as I get to this aiming bit, I want to be able to use my mouse. The controller just is overly sensitive, and there are no controls for the controller sensitivity, particularly, you know, of course, in a shot view. I can't remember what they call it, tactical view or something? Targeting view, that's it. So, if I wanted to shoot this guy's head, using the controller, I can only just get it there. It takes me about 5 seconds, whereas the mouse is so much quicker. It's a big complaint, but it's not a massive complaint about, you know, you can easily get around it. It's not too much of an issue. You've got a mouse, you can do it. I mean, using controller is fine, it only takes 5 seconds more. But it is something that definitely should have, you know, there should be some sort of sensitivity slider, or they should just decrease the sensitivity in this view, because currently it is just a little bit too high. I don't have a time constraint. I can spend ages if it's slightly less sensitive moving my unit around. Now, where do I want to shoot? I could shoot this guy here, get all my shots in this ring, but it might not kill it. I could go for grenade. If I go for my grenades, you'll see that I have a throwing arc. I could definitely land the grenade on him. I could get it here. All in all, I think that we're probably able just to move up a little bit further, so we've got a lot of time units.
Please avoid any hasty decisions, soldiers.
Well, I'm not going to have any hasty decisions, don't worry about that.
Unit spotted.
Okay, so let's crouch again. And, ooh, do I blow that guy up? No, I'll take the shot. Let's go to our gun. Now, I've got to get this guy in the back of the head. There we go. So we got 2 critical hits there because we hit him in the back of the head. He's dead. And that's how this game works. Now, he was a scout. He's got red coloration, I think, indicates that he's you know, a command unit of some kind. And the scout adds command points to their pool. So as you kill a scout, you get command points. Or at least, sorry, they lose command points. So if they, of course, kill, you know, someone on our team who's important, we would lose command points. However, I think that's normally fail mission status if they kill Welkin. So now we've used our gun, we can't use it again. We can still continue to move and use the rest of our movement. However, I don't actually really want to move. So I'm going to just stand here and I'm going to end our turn. Now, going to kill the other guy on that bank. So if I can select over here. This is also another thing about by using a mouse on this tactical map, is it's a little bit slidey. There is definitely acceleration going on that I don't want. Like, this is me moving the mouse a tiny bit. This is me moving the mouse a little bit more, and suddenly you see there's a lot bigger difference. There is acceleration going on I don't want. I can't turn it off. That is very frustrating, which is why I'm using a controller. Again, please, people, if you're going to make that sort of thing happen, just allow me to at least turn the mouse acceleration off. Don't include it in-game. It's a very controller-y type thing to do. So, let's try and get up here. Hello there. So we're going to crouch down here. I wonder if we'll get fire support because we're next to a friend. I think we will. Mouse again. No, no. Oh, there we go. Fire support happened. So now there are a bunch of us firing. Managed to take that guy out by multiple headshots. And that is how the firing mechanic works when you've got teammates around.
Man down. Everybody be careful.
Okay, so I'm going to leave those guys there. They've done their job. I don't really need to move them up. We do have a sniper on the north bank who I can move into position. So let's select our sniper.
I'll do my best.
Start moving you. Now, have to be aware that snipers have a lot fewer time units, so we've been kind of spoiled back there.
I've got a visual on the supply.
Right, now let's have a look. Zoom in. Ah, yes. Zooming in is on the right stick, which is incredibly unintuitive. Where is our... Okay, so there is a guy here. I guess we'll try and take the shot. Nah, fence is blocking it. God damn it, fence. Okay. Well, we'll try and hide behind the tree. Okay, we're out of time units, so we can't move. Okay. So you can see they have a tank down there. Medium tank. And it's got both a body and treads HP bar. If you destroy the treads, they basically run out of AP to the point where they can do barely anything. And they can't really move much. So let's select our tank. You can see we've got both a body and treads thing again. Let's advance. So you can see down we have an anti-armor rounds, we also have mortar rounds, and we have a machine gun. So you've got a number of different weapons on this tank, which is fairly nice. And ooh, they've put a tree in the way. How dare they? Can we destroy the tree, I wonder? Let's try.
Now!
Ta-da! Ah, and they've got an anti-tank mine behind it. Cunning. So, you've got a number of different weapons you can use. You've got that mortar that I just used there, which is great for destroying cover. You've got the anti-armor rounds, which is great for anti-tank. You've also got machine gun. Now, any enemy who runs in front of your tank, which the arc with the machine gun is in, will start firing at you. So I haven't been able to show you quite yet the sort of if you run in front of someone, they'll automatically start shooting. Basically, everyone has an automatic Overwatch in terms of, you know, XCOM language. I guess I'll run our scout up, Hermes. You can also use your tanks as cover, by the way. That's one of the best things about tanks in this game is, you know, down here we haven't got much cover. There's a couple of trees, but you can hide behind your own tanks on your own side, which is fairly nice.
I've got a visual on the supply base up ahead.
Now I'm going to run ahead. I'm just going to try and hide behind a tree if I can. I think I'm still too far away for them to shoot at me, but we'll see. I just want to try and get this right. Hup. Okay, let's try behind this tree. It's a bit bigger. I can't actually move behind that one. Oh god. Right, now, if we go into firing view, we should be able to get maybe a couple of shots.
Take this!
Now, that is one thing I have to say, that non-headshots do take a very long time to kill the enemies, and while I understand it's very anime-ish to, you know, have a large HP bar or whatever, it's kind of something that I'm not looking for in a strategy game personally, but I can understand maybe it fits with the genre enough. It's just, how much damage did I do? Yeah, barely any. I got 3 shots on target. I mean, I can understand, you know, taking a few shots to hit, but that guy's going to take 12 shots more to hit to the body. So 15 shots is a little bit OP, maybe. Now, I think we won't show that much more of this. We'll show you some of the more of the strategic stuff. So I think we'll just let them have their turn so you can see what they do in their turn. So let's just end our phase, even though we've got time units left. We could have moved 3 more guys. Or the tank once more. And someone else. So they have 10. They would have had 11 if we'd let them have a scout left. Okay, so their movement is hidden from us, much like in XCOM, of course. And we also, there we go, Overwatch. They came in range of us. That looks like it's a shock trooper from the icon. Okay. You get to see roughly where they are by these shuffle sound effects. So you can sort of guess, but you don't know who's there or exactly where they are. Which is nice. It's very sort of comic book-esque. Or, I guess, manga. We might lose a guy here. That's an anti-tank. Yeah. Lance. They hit the tree. Which, unfortunately, is destructible. Cover in this game is nicely destructible. At least we can start using our Overwatch shots. Okay. 6 left. Oh, they just used them all. Huh, okay, they elected not to do anything. The AI is a little bit weird like that at some points. The AI does make questionable moves in this game. Now, we were like a third of the way into the campaign by now, so the fact it's still telling me tutorial things is a bit weird, but it does acceptably tell you about pretty much all the mechanics in the game.
Here we go.
Let's just use our tank for the last time before we exit out of this. Let's avoid hitting that mine. Now we can use an engineer to disable mines, I believe, but I'm just going to avoid hitting them for now. Now they do have a lot of anti-tank guys at the front, including the tank, so this would be probably a very stupid move if I was actually planning to play the next turn of this game. Let's turn towards them. Your tank does take extra damage if not from the front. I'm actually believe directly on the back. If you look at the back here, those bits, they're common to all tanks on the back. If you hit them, you get like a critical hit, so effectively that's a headshot. Right, let us try mortar. I don't know if we can get it on... Ooh, we can. Now I'm going to try and aim here to try to destroy their cover, and then you'd be able to basically shoot them, so let's try that. Awesome, and that guy ragdolled and hit a tree. Aww. And then spawned back. Odd. Anyway, so this is the tactical, the actual tactical sort of game you get to see in game. It's very stylistic. I like the sight lines where it tells you know who can see you, when they can actually be in range with the yellowness. Otherwise, I believe it's like a bit different coloured. Or it's when you can see them and they can't see you. I think it's a different colour. You've got treads and you've got body on your tank. You've also got a number of different weapons and different classes, all of whom have, you know, different perks to kind of make them individual. That's really nice. You can turn sightlines on and off, by the way. So let's end current action. Bring up the menu. How do we do that? Is it Y? Yes. So let us go back to the title screen. Now, by the way, there isn't actually a restart mission here, which is annoying. If you're losing a mission and you're like, okay, I don't think I can win, there's no point in me playing it out, I want to restart the mission, you can't. You have to go to the title screen and go back into the mission. Which is annoying, because if I do this, and I haven't saved recently, you would lose your progress. And that's how I lost my progress, I believe. That's annoying. It should take you back either to the book, or there should be an option to go back to the book and want to be back to this title screen. It should also have an autosave, but there we go. So if we just go into load, and let's have a look at the strategic view. Now, something like that XCOM clone that I looked at recently, that did the strategic view all wrong. It cloned it and it did it badly from XCOM. This one has a very good system. So if we have a look at, say, tab select, you can see we've got headquarters, skirmishes, personnel, weaponry, glossary. So a lot of these are informational. Skirmishes are missions that you can use to get money and experience to upgrade your troops and your equipment, and then you can spend them at headquarters in addition to campaign maps. So if you're like having a hard time on a campaign map, you can go play some skirmishes. So there is a way of grinding skirmishes there. Let's go to the headquarters and have a look at what we can upgrade. So, you have squad barracks. This is where you can basically look at your squad and you can change them around and stuff. Come on, load up. So you can see here we've got Alicia. She's got a Galleon 3 rifle, a Type B Grenade M1 and Ragnade S, which is the medical stuff. And you can look down, they've got more information on the troops and so on if you want. Let's exit the barracks. Command room. You can change the members of the squad who are fighting combat, etc. You can basically hire people here if you take losses. Ooh, I've got an achievement.
Hello, Welkin. Oh, and there are...
Okay, so you can see we've got recruits here. It says new. Potential info. Worries about dirty stains lead to distraction and decrease in accuracy. That's neat freak. So if we have a look at Chatty Cathy, I believe. Whenever a close friend is nearby, they just can't help but chit-chat, and distraction lowers their accuracy. So you want to keep them away from their close friends. Okay. So these are all, you know, they're nice flavour things, but again, like I said earlier, I don't think there's a bit too much there to really keep in mind all at once, especially when the interplay between different guys is more effective than, you know, individual person traits. Sometimes. If we look at the training field, this is where you upgrade your... You don't upgrade guys individually. So in XCOM, you will upgrade a person, you will upgrade this troop or that troop. Here, you upgrade classes all at once. So you can see we can upgrade our scout, or our shock trooper, or our lancer, or an engineer, or a sniper. And it will take, you know, so much experience. I don't actually have it much to spend. I don't believe I can get anyone up a level, but if you watch, like, I can go, oh, I will put experience into all of these guys. There's no point. You don't get anything for not leveling up, so I don't see why there is a, oh, I'm going to put experience in by, you know, tapping this or whatever, or holding down the analog stick, because it's completely pointless. It should just be, okay, I will spend it to level up. Bam, done. I don't see why you have these bars, but it does allow you to level up the entire class at once, which is a thing they've done to try and go away from personalized troops. Just saying, okay, all troops are interchangeable, just, you know, focus on classes or whatever. Which seems a little bit contradictory with how they've got individual, you know, people that like and then people that traits or whatever. You can't upgrade people individually. However, it does have the bonus over something like XCOM, whereas in XCOM, if, say, your best troops, you know, who you've got most experience and been on the most missions with, died, you'd be screwed, because, you know, you have to go back to people who didn't have any experience. This doesn't have that issue, because, of course, you raise people as a class. So that's using XP, and if we have a look at spending our monies... You can see we can develop weapons or outfit our tank. So, under weapons, you'll see that we have rifles, machine guns, anti-tank weapon, sniper rifle, hand grenade, uniforms, blast suits, and Edelweiss. Edelweiss is our tank. So we can look at our tank and you can be like, oh, I'm going to upgrade all the cool things. So you can get body enhancements, treads and other, and attack support. So just have a look around. You can see we've got expand capacity. That allows you to put more stuff in it. Here you can see that we've got, you know, anti-tank rounds, and we have rolled steel. All these lovely little things. Radiator upgrade, hardened plate. So let's go develop weapons and actually look at the basic infantry stuff. So another thing I think it does better than XCOM is in XCOM you have to buy individual guns. As soon as you've researched a gun, you have to buy individual guns, yet your entire military project. That doesn't seem exact to me. It just seems a bit weird. Whereas in this, if you buy, you know, you research an extra level of a weapon, so, you know, I've researched from the Galleon 1 to the Galleon 2 to the Galleon 3. Now I have that. All my scouts are equipped with Galleon 3s. As you saw previously, like Alicia was equipped with a Galleon 3. Because as soon as you go, okay, I'm going to research the next one, all your troops get the upgraded firearm. Which makes sense, because, you know, this is the giant war. I'm not fiddling about, you know, getting one weapon for one person. There's something that I think is a lot more thematic than the XCOM thing of build one weapon. And yes, I am comparing it a lot to XCOM, but that's because the strategic sort of overview campaign management followed up by, you know, sort of tactical map stuff. Here you see we've got combat suits. Is very, very familiar. However, the way this does the strategy view isn't free from strategy view. It's just a campaign that you work through. Of course, with skirmishes. Now, I have to say the voice acting is pretty good, generally. You know, it might not always match the lip syncing in my experience, but these two are mostly flavor text, so that's, you know, your War Memorial, and that's just sort of generally back flavor text, if you have a look at it. Yep, thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you. I've done this before, but I don't think it's registered it because I must have backed out. So there is another thing that you can't really skip through those conversations very quickly. So here we go. You can see that we have sort of news reports that we can read if you want. It's a very nice fusion of what is effectively the XCOM sort of strategy tactical game along with an actual storyline, which is, you know, very common to sort of these Japanese RPG type systems where you have a very, you know, central theme for a storyline and it won't be that freeform. Overall, let's go back. Come on. Oh, god damn it. Really? Seriously? Yeah, you will get this feeling occasionally if you don't want to actually just watch a million cutscenes. Let's go back to book mode. Yes, I would like to return to book mode. Overall, I think it is a fairly nice game. I do like it. The cutscenes are a little bit long, the controls are a little bit janky in places. It does do some things better than something like Dragon Age Inquisition, which doesn't do automatic controller switching, which should be standard in this day and age. Come on, guys. But the tactical game is pretty damn solid. I like the use of command points. I like the ability to take out enemy troops with command points. I like the ability to capture, you know, flags for reinforcements, etc. The ability to have tanks who actually have, you know, a decent impact on the game while not being crazy unbalanced. And the actual art style is really, really nice. If you like, or at least are moderately not too fussed, I know some people detest what is, you know, in inverted commas, anime bullshit. If you don't detest anime, and you like sort of the XCOM sort of system, and you may be, you know, a bit tired of playing XCOM for the last, you know, 2 years, this game, you could do worse than this game. You could definitely do worse than this game. This game is currently $20 in the US, £15 in the UK, and €20. So the Americans get it slightly cheaper than everyone else, but not too much so. Overall, I would say that if you're, you know, looking for a game, you like anime, and you're looking for a game that's sort of an XCOM type game, sort of a tactical strategy game, that price isn't too bad. I think they've done a fairly good job here of porting it in general. There are just a couple of issues. There definitely needs to be an autosave as well. Just remember to save, guys. Really, really remember to save. Overall, I think it is a good game. I enjoy it. And I'm normally very critical of things like this. And my biggest complaints are the autosave and occasionally the controls are a little bit janky. It's good. It's enjoyable. The cutscenes and so on do go on a little bit long, but that is something that, you know, some people like. Some people like being able to just sit down and effectively watch a movie and then occasionally play a campaign game. Now, the maps themselves actually do take a decent amount of time to do. They're not sort of XCOM maps that, you know, you can do in half an hour. They normally take more sort of an hour, especially the later ones like we were just practicing there. That one would probably take, you know, we're talking an hour, maybe an hour, 10 minutes or something. Good investment of time, good, you know, progression in that mission itself. You can see there were capture points, there were, you know, of course, command point people to kill, there were tanks and so on. There were little things in there that make you actually feel like you're achieving the mission so it doesn't drag on. I do enjoy it. I think it's a good game. The music is nice, the aesthetic is nice. I don't think I can say any more. Overall, I would actually recommend this game. I've been EnterElysium. If you've enjoyed this video, well, like the video, and if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to see more. Until next time, though, stay shiny.